And welcome to the last episode of Just Saying for 2025. It is season 3, episode 4. And Bromeo, we're going to come to your ridiculousness in a moment. But first and foremost, we got to welcome Borky on the podcast for the first time. Hello, Borky.
Hello. It is such a privilege to be here. I know I've been trying. The one time that I got invited, I was unavailable, but finally got it right. And, it's a good way to send off the year for me, and I believe for the potty as well.
And, well, we're going to come back to you in a moment because I don't know if everybody knows who you are. I think most do, but we want to make sure everyone does. But, Bromeo, getting yourself into the December vibes.
Sitting having this chat, and we haven't announced this. This is the last one for the season. So we need to make sure that this is as festive as possible, because I'm not sure if you guys celebrate, but I sure as hell do. It's any chance to wear very sparkly antlers for Christmas, you know?
I celebrate Christmas in one very particular way, and that is eating. So I'm very good, but then there's that 5-day period of you just wake up, eat, nap, wake up and eat, have another nap, and just keep going for as many days as you can handle.
You see, like that's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it, and I feel like that is the SSA way. So, Borky, I'm glad that you get to join us for this this absolute final extravaganza of Christmas and Rocket League collaboration.
All right, so let's say hello to everyone that's here, that's linked into chat. Raids, hello. Marcy, also known, the Rocket League player, formerly known as Willant. Marcy, hello. Unguarded Ace, still campaigning for a shoey. Unlikely, but thanks. Hello, Tanya. And I realize there is a light I haven't turned on. One sec.
So this is my coffee cup, and I haven't talked about my coffee cup before, but it's my favorite coffee cup in the whole world, and I figured that everybody watching now should just know that was in fact my favorite coffee cup. You're welcome.
Well, there you go. Gentlemen, let's get down to Rocket League, which is why we exist. And we're not going to go too deep into rosters because it is going to be chaos for the next 4 weeks. Registrations close in 4 weeks and 1 day's time, and there is going to be so much happening that it's a fool's errand to try and dissect what's going on. But there is some interesting news. So we know that Onizuma got dropped from Astronic, and Astronic posted that news today. But speaking of Marcy, who's in chat, Willant and Onizuma have teamed up and are actively looking for a third. But what it looks like, and I'm going by, I had and I don't know if the two of you have had a glance through the signups for the Cash Cup, which start on Thursday, I think.
I have not, but I'm looking forward to you telling me.
Okay, well, the third that Willant and Onizuma are going with for the Cash Cup is Kexi. And Kexi, as we know, is part of Punishers. So that would be kind of weird. That and I did message Gold Ninja because I was like, are Punishers splitting up? But that's what it feels like. But that would be so weird. They did so incredibly well in Open 1.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense, and rosters
seldom do.
Yeah, they seldom do, and I'm just trying to think, because Punisher's breaking up despite having a very good finish, a top 8 finish, and when nobody gave them the time of day, that's on us, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the fact that they finished top 8 and are now dispersing, that's diabolical. That's wild news. I mean, we were talking about, Astronic, dropping Onizuma. Okay, I could understand that one. I felt like they were taking a chance with Onizuma. They did reasonably well, but they can do better with a more seasoned campaigner, which is what I think that team needs to be rounded. But having a look, Punishers deciding to split up, making top 8, that makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I see Marcy says in chat that Kexy's trying with the whole map. And to be fair, there are a lot of tryouts ongoing, but yeah. And then I don't know who's T-Sam, because he's saying, "Yo, SSA teams just picked me up." I don't know who that is, but well, there we go. We got someone looking for LF something in chat. Now the other one. Well, okay. Well, we know. I think we announced this already. Is that Eagle is going to be teaming up with Helloist. Helloist is French, but also has Reunion roots. So he's moving out to Reunion. Will be staying with Eagle, and I think is going to try and be classified officially as SSA, so they can still pick up a third. And if they get that right, that might be a banger of a roster. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Helloist. I'm not, other than I think he's a 2.1k or something player.
Well, I feel like at this stage, and we throw that 2.1k around a lot, because I feel like if they need to be, if they want to come into SSA and make a difference, that's sort of the MMR range that we're looking at. So if he is indeed at that level, then cool. Bring it. Let's see it.
Yeah. And then for me, the biggest news is, well, before we get to that, so Mr. Lowe has officially announced that he's coming out of retirement. And
I thought that was a joke, by the way.
So did I.
Was a joke.
So did I.
did
And he was like, no, definitely. And then to further put some credibility on it, at the Varsity Esports final, which Bromeo, you and I were at on Friday, and we're going to talk about that in a bit, I was chatting to Darth, and there's a possibility of a Darth Lowe team up in Split 2. Darth is otherwise committed this split. He's the official sub for Five Fears. So he can't move until roster unlock or the transfer window. But that would be something, is Mr. Lowe, Darth, and somebody. Borky, I don't know how familiar you are with Mr. Lowe. I mean, he hasn't been around for 2 seasons, but not sure if you're familiar with him or not.
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with the name. I've seen them around in the scene when I first started peeping into SSA, and also when I was filling out the player cards, it felt like everybody that was around in the early days at some point teamed up with Mr. Lowe. So just seeing that tweet, it really caught me by surprise. And what I'm curious for is if Darth and Mr. Lowe are planning on possibly teaming in Split 2. Are we going to see Mr. Lowe, testing the waters here in the remainder of Split 1?
I think we'll definitely see him in Open 2 and Open 3 as he tries out rosters and shakes off what must be a substantial layer of rust.
Man, I'm trying to remember what team he was on. It was just a team that that he was chilling on that was called something else, and then they got picked up. I think it was like around that reformed time. When they were reformed, but it was, I'm trying to find out.
And then out of retirement, was it, am I thinking Skill
was
Skill?
It
am I right?
No, so it was Skill Archeon and Mr. Lowe.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I was thinking, like, that was the heyday. That was, they became Nixa. And Nixa, went on, they were the challengers.
Yes.
And I think that was like the height of my knownness of the Mr. Lowness. And so I'm glad that he's making a comeback. It's good for the scene. It's great for the storylines. It's great for the lore and the content. So welcome back, man. Welcome back.
And then the other potential return, and I don't know when, I think it's Split 2 as well, is going to be Kino. Now Kino, Kino's fabulous. I've always been a fan of him. He's an American, but his parents were doing work in Mozambique, so he was playing on the cuckest Wi-Fi out of Mozambique. But a really, really good player, and he replied to a tweet saying he's coming out. So it'll be amazing to see the return of Kino if he comes. And I don't know how much Rocket League he's played, how good he is, if he's going to be a serious contender or if he's just going to be shooting for like that somewhere in the top 8, earn a few $100 US and have himself a bit of fun. I don't know, but it'll be great if he does come back. And Unguarded Ace says that subs can leave without losing points. I didn't know that, and I'm not sure if Darth knows that or not. But then other interesting, glancing over the Cash Cup rosters, is you have the Cosmico roster of Jeff and Ravi are playing with Revezzi. So I messaged Jeff and I'm like, what? And he said, no. Oh, and Steak is playing with Tekos. So it's like, what? What's going on there? And he's like, no. Steak just wasn't sure if he could play the Cash Cup, so they went with someone else. He might still not be able to play, but so I think the Cash Cup is something not to read too much into. It's like it looks to me though that Steak and Tekos are mates, because that's not the first thing I've seen them playing in. So they're doing the Cash Cup together. Oh well, there you go. Unguarded Ace is confirmed. Steak might not be able to play. The Spanish players have a Spanish tournament at the same time. Oh, okay, so
Spanish mom said no.
Spanish mom said no. All right, cool. Well, hello, Asterix. And then the other name, and I don't know, Borky, I would be amazed. You won't know this guy. So before there was Devour and Ravi as the young breakthrough guys, there was a 13-year-old in the scene by the name of Risque. And he had so much potential, and to the point where I actually had a conversation with his dad, who was worried, like any responsible parent, worried about his kid spending all this time in a video game and blah blah blah. And then he left. He sort of didn't play anymore. He just disappeared, and I never knew why. But I see that he is on a roster for the Cash Cup. So I messaged Shooks, who was one of the other players, and said, hey, are we going to see the return of Risque? And he said, Risque is not sure, is still deciding. So we might see the return of Risque, and I'll be very excited if that happens, because he really, really was a player with a lot of potential. Anyway,
how long ago are we talking now? How long are we talking?
This is pre-region madness, so probably in the middle of 24 and 25, somewhere in the middle of like early 2023, middle of 2023, right before Devour and Ravi sort of got themselves onto the scene. It was around the same time.
Because because Nixa was 2022.
Huh? Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. So you're saying I completely missed an entire era of Rocket League?
No. This guy didn't even play RLCS. He was an up and comer.
Okay.
He was sort of bubble at best, in as much as we had a bubble scene back in those days.
All right.
He was on Unity for a little bit though with
really?
Banana Cat.
Yeah, but of course he was. It's Unity.
Everybody's had a go at Unity. All right, and then the last news for roster news, and it's a pretty big one, is that Astronic have locked down a new third, and that new third is Inspire. So they've gone out of region, picked up Inspire. So that is a very, very interesting pickup, and if it goes well, I think it'll go spectacularly well.
Okay, so you say Inspire has moved to Astronic, and you say Willant was playing with who?
Onizuma.
So is that just a straight up org trade? Labosh trading with Astronic picking up Inspire and then getting Onizuma out in the same transfer. I know that these Labosh is rather laid back on that, but can we get an org spokesperson, please, on the line to? Well,
Labosh has never been an org outside of Inspire's mind, I don't think.
I know. I'm creating a little bit of Rostamania here, because we need to have this sort of stuff. We need to have a graphic up and shaking of hands and changing of jerseys, because that's pretty big news. Inspire going in for Onizuma. So a Skill Steal Devour Inspire roster looks pretty scary. I like that.
Yeah, I think that should be pretty good. And then, all right, so that's all the roster news we're going to delve into for our last episode of the year. There will be lots and lots and lots to come. The first episode of 2026 will be on the 5th of January. And that's going to be the accumulation of 4 weeks of everyone doing the rounds and tryouts. It'll be 1 day away from sign-ups, registrations closing for Open number 2. So there will be plenty to talk about there. And I think what we should do... okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, then we're going to bring in our guest after that. But I don't know, I know, Bromeo, you were working, so I don't know how much of it you actually caught. But the kickoff LAN in Copenhagen, Borky, I'll start with you. Did you manage to... I don't know how the time zones worked out for you, if you were able to catch any of it.
Oh, I watched the whole thing. Yeah,
okay, of course you did.
As much as I hate that we're gonna start combining the regionals all like at the same exact day, I think it's very worth it for the level of quality we got from the kickoff LAN. I mean, the studio that they were in was just one big hype chamber, which was awesome. And it just felt like a really good vibe. Like it kind of, I was talking about this with one of my friends that got me into Rocket League, and it felt like the old days where it was like the like when they had league play for Rocket League. It kind of gave those vibes.
I thought that the studio was fantastic. I thought they did a bang up job of that, and I hope our local production people will get the new assets for that hype chamber, because they've got 3 cars now sort of driving down the hype chamber toward the field. And I think our hype chambers definitely need an update, you know, for as the match starts. And anyway, so from the production value was absolutely superb, and the Rocket League was fantastic. And so Friday night was the EU regional top 6 to get the finals, and then Saturday was North America, and then Sunday was the gauntlet bracket to determine which region gets that extra spot. So it was a proper North America Europe matchup, and as Johnny Boy said on Twitter, Carmine Corp hard carrying EU, because by the time Carmine Corp got to play on Sunday, they were the only EU team remaining. So Borky, that's got to make, as an I know you're a huge SSA fan, but as a North American native, you must have been pretty stoked with the NA showing.
Oh, it was definitely awesome. I mean, it's always been a question of how much depth is inside the NA region, and I think that it was a really good showing for NA. Just, you know, NRG wasn't even there, and that's the big talking point that NA's had for the past season or two. So to see teams like Shopify rebelling, and then Redacted coming in with Wavy and 2Ps, they looked phenomenal. I am disappointed though that we had 3 North American teams and we still lost to the only EU team, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But it was very refreshing.
And Redacted were definitely the story of that LAN. I mean, I think a team that were underestimated from the beginning, but even though they took out NRG to make it to the LAN, and the reason NRG were not at the LAN was because of them, and they were magnificent. And it is shocking that they are still unsigned. I have a feeling before Open 2 gets underway, that will most certainly change. And then Shopify Rebellion, I'm very pleased for them, because they're one of the few orgs of which I'm a fan. I love what Shopify Rebellion do as an org, and you know, they were very involved with the Ascension Protocol 1v1 that was hosted by them at their facilities in Canada last year. And of course CJ's their sort of flag bearer, and it was great to see them doing well. They were the winners of the North American regional and finalists in the gauntlet with Carmine Corp. But and I think the stat for First Killer is that he has he's had 3 LAN losses, all of them at the hands of Vatira. So he's that's got to be his life goal, is to overcome that. But overall, and I mean, Bromeo, I don't know if you caught any of it, but your thoughts on what you did see, if you did see anything.
Look, I didn't get to watch a lot of it go down, but I watched a a lot of what was transpiring on Liquipedia and on social media. And obviously, the big news was Redacted doing as well as they are, Two Piece Talk and Wavy doing their absolute most. And obviously, NRG getting knocked out, being world champions, that was also something that we looked at, coming into it. That was the big exclusion. So there were a lot of eyes on Redacted. And like you said, it's an absolute shame these guys haven't been picked up yet. And given the fact that they made it all the way to the semis, which means, top 4 of the tournament, I do not suspect that they are going to be without org for too long. So there were a lot of results that were to be expected. Vitality making a strong pull, Space Station doing pretty damn well, but Carmine Corp have been doing some heavier lifting for Europe for a couple years now, so it's no surprise to see them continue doing that.
Having the regional finals at a LAN makes a lot of sense. It was awesome for that, and I wonder what it would take. In a fantasy world, logistics aside, because that would be huge, but how incredible would it be for us, SSA, to have the qualifying weekend and then Swiss and then top 16, so the GSL, the Friday night, and then the Saturday matches, and then the top 6, so championship Sunday of every regional to be on LAN. And so from a timing point of view, it would be we'd have to restructure how the whole timing works, because you'd have to have everything up to the top 6 on one weekend, and then fly everybody to a location for a one-day LAN. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but my mind is going, surely there must be a way. I mean, because that would just be sensational. And then we get 6 RLCS LANs in a year.
And that would be so cool. I would love that. And I feel like that is the thing that galvanizes Rocket League support, is when you get to interact with the community that you love at a physical level. So all of these LANs that we've seen this year, especially in SSA, and we'll get to a couple of those shortly, I think have started doing a fantastic job of galvanizing Rocket League as a mainstream esport in SSA. And just seeing it happen here makes me realize how close we are to, getting something going there. And I feel like that, you're right, Graybeard, that is the next logical step. I think at this point they know it too. I think it's purely a logistical issue now, a budget issue.
Borky.
Yeah, no, so I think this would be absolutely awesome. Again, as Bromeo was mentioning, obviously logistical issues, but there's not really too many LAN opportunities for RLCS, especially for SSA. I mean, you kind of just have the one spot and that team gets to have that LAN experience. And one of the biggest things they were talking about during the kickoff LAN were teams like Man City and Novo. These players, it's their first time on a stage environment, playing at a LAN environment. And I mean, yeah, we do have things like Stellanbosch where people were able to kind of get that feeling of playing in that environment. But I feel like it would really elevate the scene if you can get that bit of like comfortability playing on a stage and in that environment. So then when we do eventually send that one team over to a major or worlds, they're already more confident going in there and have an understanding of what to expect.
Yeah, the 2/3 rule does further complicate it when it comes to logistics, because I think we're going to have a few of those EU players in South Africa, which will make it a bit easier. But those who aren't, it's like, oh my, all right, can you fly out of Spain and be here by Wednesday? Okie dokie. Well, so we have a new set. Last Monday we had Sweaty on, which was, I guess, the inaugural. A relatively new segment on Just Saying, which we're going to call Just Players, and we get players on here to come and have a conversation with us. So this week's player that we're going to get on is from Five Fears is... Oh, it worked! Guns! Hello, Guns!
Hey.
So this is remarkable because we have Guns on camera, which is something of a rarity. So Guns, hello and welcome.
Thanks, Greybeard. How's it going, guys?
It's going fabulous. Now we're going to get things. So we discussed this last week when we had Sweaty on. We kind of just barreled in there, and we hadn't really put much thought into what we were going to ask and all of that sort of thing. So I asked Bromeo, and he's come up with Bromeo's.
It was his first mistake. Let's make this certain. That was his first mistake. He asked me for my opinion.
So we're going to start off. What did you call it, Bromeo? Bromeo's 5 what?
5 questions, 5 cues.
Okay, Bromeo's 5 cues. Quick fire questions and answers. So, Bromeo, over to you. Strap in, Guns.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm doing it. So you get to be the guinea pig. But I also need to say, you're by no means required to answer these questions, and you don't have to answer truthfully either. You can make it up.
Excellent.
All right, so first question. Guns, outside of Rocket League, what team do you support?
I support United.
All right, I'm so sorry for
that's
you. Moving
disappointing.
On to the next, next question. What's your middle name? If you don't have one, make it up.
Jerry.
Jerry. Guns Jerry. Okay. That flows.
It
That
works,
flows. I
Jerry.
can see why you did that. Yeah. Guns Jerry. Nice. Who is your favorite Rocket League player?
My favorite Rocket League player, probably Tristan.
All right,
Oh, that's a fantastic answer. Well done.
and what's his middle name?
I don't know. Nigel.
Nigel. Okay. All right, Tristan Nigel. That also makes sense. And final question. If you weren't playing Rocket League, what would you be doing instead?
I'd probably be living my life, not playing
Touching
Rocket League.
grass.
Yeah, basically that.
It's a roundabout. It's a roundabout way of asking you if you're good at anything else.
You see,
I mean, fair enough.
man,
I'm not.
you see, man, I'm a jack of all trades. I just don't show it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
He's a jack of having traits.
Exactly.
Okay, Gun. So let's get down to it. We had a brief Discord exchange after the first Open, and I know you would have been in the thick of the disappointment at the time. But now, with a week and a bit of distance and thinking about it, take us through that weekend. How you're feeling? Where did it? What happened there? And are you ultimately happy with the result?
I mean, so first of all, I was on vacation for the whole regional. I was staying at David's house, or To Die for a whole week. So I played Swiss at his house and on a laptop on like 200 ping. Mm-hmm. And then for the second main event, I played at the Airbnb in the kitchen. So, I mean, what can I say? As well as, like, I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, I always want to win. So it was kind of a little bit annoying that we were up 3-1 and we still lost. But, I mean, there's still the whole season up. So.
And how close do you feel you and the Pioneers are? 5 years in the Pioneers, is that a team you're confident you can beat? I mean, we asked Sweaty a similar question, and he acknowledged that the two teams are close, but obviously he's confident that they can beat you guys consistently. But what are your thoughts on the skill? How close are these two rosters?
You see, man, like, if I had to compare them as like Ronaldo to Messi, like I'm definitely Messi. Like, I'm definitely the best. But like, I mean, it can go either way, to be honest. Like, it just depends on the day, you know.
Okay, so close enough that it comes down to who's in the zone on the day.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what I was trying to hint at.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I mean, we definitely knew coming into this regional that there was two teams to be keeping an eye on. Obviously, Five Fears and the Pioneers. I mean, Game 7 for the finals and the regionals, I think that was beyond evident. One of the questions that I kind of have is, your team is notoriously, some of the players on there, very vocal. So I was just kind of curious, like, how the chemistry's going, and like if there is anybody that kind of steps up and has that lead voice on the roster.
I mean, to be honest, it's really like I think people that aren't in the team make it seem like a lot worse than it is. Like we're all pretty like close friends with each other, like ever since we started teaming. So like I think we all have the same goal. Like we all want to win. So like I think the vibes are high. Like mentality's up. I don't think we've had like a super like down like in the gutters moment. So I think I think it's pretty good, to be honest.
And I just want to jump in here and saying you did the the last regional in the kitchen of an Airbnb. So let's just call that one an away fixture. Okay. Now put me into what does a home fixture look like? Is that what sort of benefits do we have there?
You see home fixture like 4-0, just like that, 4-0. Like just
okay.
In
All
and
right.
out.
And so no results. Sure, I get it. The confidence is high. You're running it good, but I'm talking about the infrastructure, the changing rooms, the facilities. What does Guns' prep into one of these games look like?
Guns prep, probably eat food like while I'm playing, and then have a little
Because
bit of water.
time efficiency. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly. You got to stay on the grind. Like
yeah.
in Cape
Grind
Town,
doesn't
I was
stop.
like, yeah. Who was next to me? Strodic and his girlfriend were sitting next to me while I was playing the finals. So
Well, okay, yeah. So obviously we're in like an official capacity or as fans. Which way?
Nah. You see, man, like personal trainers and mental coach.
And not even a nutritionist because you said you were eating.
No. I was eating. Come on.
Okay, no. Okay, I got you. I
was eating Oreos in the middle.
But seriously, it must be quite a schlep to play out of a kitchen in an Airbnb. Do you think, in the comfort of your own home, that definitely makes a big impact? Because skills never stop, the grind never stops, and you showed you did it quite well. How much of an impact do you think it actually makes?
I think, to be honest, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, I think if you're super uncomfortable, then it makes like a big difference. But like, if you were there like a few days before, like just getting into it, I think you can kind of get used to it in like a decent amount of time, like 2 days, maybe 1 day. But other than that, like, it was honestly just a bad weekend or bad final from all of us. So.
Well, like my last take on that, and you say it was a bad final, but us on the desk were going, that was possibly one of the best finals we've seen. So not the result you wanted, but SSA sure was loving that final all the way until Game 7. So sometimes a little bit of perspective. You didn't get the result, I get that, and it was very clear you guys could have just as easily taken it. So I get the disappointment, but I also think, from an outsider perspective, it's never been more fun to support SSA. So I think that's been really, really cool so far. And I'm not sure if you've picked up on the increased amount of vibes. Is that any different from the player perspective?
I mean, it's obviously I can't speak English. Sorry. It's obviously like a lot nicer to have a lot more SSA representation in like the top 4 and like finals and stuff, as well as like I feel like a lot of people can support the region a lot more, especially like the teams that they like, without like a full EU team just sweeping them like that.
So, okay, well, give us a broader view of how do you view, from what you've experienced this last regional and generally from what you see. I mean, you're down in the trenches, the health of competitive Rocket League in the region compared to, let's say, I mean, I think your debut was what, close to 3 years ago now, when your first
Huh?
I
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It was, yeah, okay. It was 3 years ago. It was late in 2022.
And I was like, I'm going to ask you a question. Look, it sounds like a question, but it's actually a statement.
Yeah. So compared to back then, like 3 years ago, and then we had the roster craziness, and I'm not quite sure what to make of that period. But where we are now, how do you view the health of competitive Rocket League in the region?
I think back then it was just like everybody was laid back. It was just like playing for fun, like free money, like, and especially like when the region got opened, I feel like a lot of people, or a lot of like the newer players like Ravi, Devour, Zani, Teshtal, like all started getting a lot better. Like before the region unlocked, I remember I've never heard of any of those players in my whole life. But I feel like it's a lot more competitive, especially now, because I feel like everybody's gotten a lot better and gotten a lot more influenced by all the EU players, especially like playstyle wise. So I feel like, especially the top 8 to 16 can go like any way. Like literally anybody can make top 8.
And then turning to a more serious question. I know, I mean, you've had your. There's been fun and games with where I think your volatility has sort of spilled over and created issues either with other players or just by and large in the community. Is that something that you feel like? Well, has it been? Do you feel like you've addressed it? How have you addressed it, or is it not something you feel you've had to address?
Honestly, like the past 2 years, I made a lot of mistakes. Like I let my ego get in the way of everything. But I feel like in the last 9 months to a year, I've gotten a lot better. Especially like I've been a lot nicer to people. I don't know why. I just felt like it took too much effort to be toxic. So, and I'm getting a lot older. So
Fair enough,
I
that's
realized
valid.
don't burn. You shouldn't burn your bridges, like because you might need to use them one day. Like
I really like that. Too much work to be toxic.
He's not wrong though.
Yeah, no.
It takes a lot of effort. It does. It does.
Oh, so okay, so Tekos is Tekos still in South Africa, or has he gone back home and coming back out for Open 2?
Yeah, he's at home right now in Spain, but he is coming back for all the regionals.
Okay.
So
and then
should be here pretty soon.
All right, cool. Borky.
Yeah, and so just to kind of jump on to like asking about Tekos, I know that you've had a little bit of exposure with teaming with some of the imports. I believe it was last season you were on Cristobal Cologne at some point. What is it like playing with Tekos, and like, is there any like real barriers there with like the differences of the regions, or?
I mean, honestly, except for his past, he's quite a nice guy. I honestly see him as like our main leader or like captain of the team. I mean, we have two leaders, Snowy and Tekos, but like Tekos like kind of guides us to how we want to play and like the way we should set up things. So I feel like he's a lot more understanding, especially since he was a lot better in EU compared to like the SSA scene. So I feel like he's had a lot more exposure to like better coaches, teaming with better players and stuff like that.
Now,
So, and don't mind me, I'm just hopping in here because we're talking about other players for a second, and I just want to get your opinion on this one, Guns. Let's put aside your current team because we know that they're incredibly good, but you've been on a couple of rosters, and I've made a couple of jokes at your expense in my time. It's been a lot of fun, thank you. But who that you've played alongside do you reckon you've had the maddest chem with? Because we're talking about chemistry, we're talking about import players imparting knowledge. When you've like scrimmed with these guys, or played some ranked with these guys, like just give me a couple of players who you've just had like a really really good time playing alongside.
Are we talking about like in game or like like in general?
No, in comp. You've played alongside
okay.
some of the region's best, so you're possibly the best person to ask this question.
Honestly, like he's very underrated. Snoozy. I think Snoozy's number one. I mean, I teamed with him for like 2 seasons or season and a half. But Snoozy, Ducklers when I first got into the scene. To Die For. I mean, we were playing basically the whole last season for VS. 2-time land champ. So like.
Yeah, yep, 2-2, yep.
And then this one's a little bit of a tricky one. Let's go with Daisy or Cam.
Cam. Do you still call him Daisy, or does everybody go by Cam now? Is like Daisy a dead name? Like, do we go there?
I mean, we call him Daisy. Like,
nice.
To Die For, Snowy. I don't know why. Just sticks better.
That's how you know him. Yeah.
Oh, you've made me feel better because I will call him Daisy forever now because I loved that name. Okay. Well, let's zoom out for a second. 5 Fears picked you guys up. How did that all come about, and what's the relationship like with the org? Is there has the relationship deepened enough that you can comment on what they're like as an org? I mean, they're quite active in the scene on their socials and so on. So, tell us about 5 Fears.
So when we first announced the roster, like they messaged us like as soon as like they saw it. Mm-hmm. So I think they were interested straight away. But honestly, I do really like this org, especially
if y'all don't follow
the community,
Greybeard,
especially the owners and stuff. They show a lot of support to us, like behind the scenes without anybody knowing. But I genuinely think it's one of the better orgs I've been on.
Mm.
And yeah, nothing much more to say.
Okay, well, there's a couple of chat questions. So your thoughts on Cosmico? That was sort of out of the blue, pretty sad. Thoughts on Cosmico shutting down?
What the org like?
Yeah.
I mean, it is disheartening. I mean, me and Syntex, the owner, had a little bit of a complication, but like I kind of looked past it, especially like the last few months. Like we kind of rebuilt our bridge together. But it's sad to let them go. But honestly, like I feel like real life is way more important than just a game. So especially if it's due to family or friends, like I'd rather take care of your family than have a little silly Rocket League org. Sorry.
No, that is fair enough. And the next question from chat was. That question was from Jay, I think, by the way.
Jay's asking some cuck questions. You should actually ask, I should ask you this question. In a friendly match, West Ham versus Man U, who wins?
United's always winning.
Yeah, no. I feel that way as well. I'm not sure why. I don't know West Ham that well. I'm not sure too many people in this region do. But I've heard that they're an all right team, just not always in the Premier League.
Yeah, in and out.
Yeah, no, up and down. Way of life. It is the way it is. GB, back to you.
So Bruv has asked 2 questions. The first is, how do you speed flip? So give us a deep tutorial on that. But never mind that. Next question. So let's say you lose one of the roster. Tekos or Snowy become unavailable for whatever reason, and you can take your pick of anybody else in the region. Who do you pick?
Be Darth.
If I had to pick one, I mean, I'm going back to my good old pick, Snoozy. Just what a guy.
I have a question about Snoozy, Guns, and because I agree with you. I saw Snoozy also back before the region madness, back in the first and second season of RLCS, and I thought he was going to be one of the top 3 players of the region. I thought he was exceptional. But he sort of seems to blow hot and cold in terms of how seriously he takes Rocket League. And I mean, he did well. They made top 8, and then nobody showed up because they all have made other plans for the for the weekend. But do you see Snoozy taking things more seriously in Rocket League? Because I think if he does, he could absolutely be up at the top there.
I mean, he's always like never made it his main focus. Like, I don't know. I don't think he really enjoys the game that much. I think he just plays for the extra cash. But I mean, I went out with him a lot when I was in Cape Town.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I think he could be like really, really good.
Mm.
But I think he's just playing for fun, to be honest.
Mm.
And sorry, to go back when you said they didn't make it. So Snoozy had his sister's graduation at Stelli's, so he couldn't make it. And then I don't know what happened to Tristan. I think Tristan went out or something.
He went on holiday, is what I heard.
Oh no. I think. Oh no. He had a wedding or something.
Not his own.
No, not his own.
Wild.
Oh, that is crazy. Okay. All right, fine. Well, there was another question I had, and it's kind of failed me. I don't think anyone else is coming up with any brilliant questions in chat just yet. Borky, Bromeo, any other questions?
So you were talking about.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Borky.
Romeo.
No,
No, mine's not.
No,
that
no,
good.
no,
Okay.
you. You
All
go.
right. You were talking about eating Oreos during the final. What is your go-to snack whenever you are playing in RLCS?
Well, I have them right here.
Oh,
Either
Adspot,
this,
proudly sponsored by
What is that? Is that
what
dried
is-
fruit?
What is that?
Woolworths sweets.
Fruit? Oh, my word.
Cables. Yeah, either that or dried apricot.
Dried apricots are valid. Okay, I will accept that answer. And my final question, it's not going to be, too hectic, but you've teamed up with Snowy and Tekos now, and you guys are proving to be a pretty damn solid team. Thoughts to the future now that you've played a split with them? Is this what Future Guns looks like for now?
I mean, don't you worry. Like, you know what they say. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. So, like, next regional, 4-0. Next regional, 4-0. Like,
Just out there.
just coming. You know what they say.
All right. Well, we haven't talked about a big thing, which is you leave on Thursday for the Rocket League World Cup. So some of
little thing.
some of Pioneers, some of Five Fears, you, Snowy, and To Die For, heading to Saudi. Have the three of you done much prep in terms of conversation or scrimming, or is there any kind of, has there been any preparation for that?
We have been scrimming like quite recently. There has been quite preparation. I mean, we got the team building at David's house, or me and David team building. So
Okay.
like the chem's already there. With Snowy's now in London, so it's quite hard to scrum, especially since he's on high ping. But we still try. So.
And how? I mean, the group you're in, we had a look at it last week, and in my mind, there is a world. There is a world if you guys play well and things kind of line up, that you make it through the group stage. I mean, you got France, which is like, okay, that's a wall, but.
What do you mean? That's an easy dub, please.
How are we feeling about that? I mean, have you discussed what your realistic prospects are?
I mean, to be honest, like, obviously we want to make it out the group, but we did get the group of death.
Yes.
I mean, obviously group A is a lot easier, but honestly, I think we could beat 2 or 3 teams and maybe scam some wins.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, let's go through them. Australia.
He's trying to avoid this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Australia.
Who's on the Australian team?
I wish I knew as well.
I'm sure it's Banana Head, Torsos, and Fever, maybe. I don't know. But Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe if you'd come prepared, because if you're not sure who's on Australia, I'm not sure who's on Malaysia.
Sphinx.
I mean,
Sphinx. Okay, he's out of APAC. He's a very good player, but you could beat Malaysia, right?
No. We're going to beat Malaysia, hopefully.
I actually think I have the.
and it was Belgium, right? Belgium's also
Belgium?
an easy dub. Yeah.
Yo, wait, who's Belgium?
Let's have a look. I'll tell
De
you.
Bruyne.
Atal and
De Bruyne's
Astral.
from Belgium, I
No,
think.
no, no.
Oh,
Oh no!
Lukaku.
Listen, Belgium it's Atau, Astral, and Rizvox.
Oh, much
I don't,
easier
I
than
don't know
De
any of
Bruyne.
those players. I don't know
Yeah,
any of
no,
those players.
easy dubs. Me neither. I don't know them.
Astral's a bit of a has-been. I think the only tough one there is Atau, which is, and then Netherlands. Netherlands is the other team you got to face, which is Joria's, Oli, and Mike Boy.
Yeah, who they? Yeah.
Still don't know there.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mike Boy.
same.
Mike Boy, I don't know. Maybe he brings the whole team down. All right. Well, so I mean, it's pretty cool. You leave on Thursday night, which means you'll get into Saudi Friday. The competition starts on Monday, so you got a few days to kind of get set up. And we know the Saudis from a hosting point of view are really, really good. So I think you'll be good and ready to go come Monday.
Yeah. You see, the only issue is kind of fractured my foot, so it's gonna be kind of
You fractured your foot.
yeah. I don't know. I broke it or fractured it somewhere in the middle. I have
During a speed flip or what?
yeah. Like
Seriously, how did that happen?
Just
What happened there?
that second flip cancel.
no. I actually don't know. I don't know. Like I actually don't know. I did
So,
something. to
so are you in a cast or?
it. I have bandage.
Okay, well, travel's going to be cuck, but I think once you get there, you'll be fine. I'm dying to see your walkout. That's going to be wonderful to see.
Don't you worry. Don't worry.
Guys, you're gonna walk out like a Snoop Swag walk. I can see it. Like the.
Yeah. Like a flamingo.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I don't have any more
Well,
questions per se, but
Yeah.
I do have a well wish, a good luck. You're gonna go and represent our country, and despite all of the bullshit that we've been talking and all of that, I truly hope that you guys smack around a couple of those nations and do us proud. So I'll shut up with my bullshittery. I hope your foot feels better soon. But mostly, I hope you get to don that South African jersey and wear it with pride, and know that at least a couple guys from home are going to be watching you and hope you win.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Guns, is there a question we should have asked you?
Yeah. I have a few.
Okay, we'll start with one. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, but I'm saying this in quotes, by the way. The Guns, why are you so handsome?
Okay. All right.
Valid.
Okay. Well, give us the whole list of questions, and we'll pick the best one of them.
I think that was just the primo question.
And then there's, wow, Guns, how are you so nonchalant?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
have
right,
one
Guns.
more, I have one more for you.
I'll ask you one.
He's got one more.
Oh, one more.
I have one
Shoot.
Wow, Guns, how are you so humble?
It's the triptych. It's the trifecta. It just works well together. It's like a good pudding.
Exactly.
Oh my word! I've just seen out of retirement. Mr. Lowe is in chat. Unbelievable. Welcome
shout
back. shout out from Guns to Mr. Lowe. Okay, so why are you so nonchalant?
I'm just chilling and that's about it.
All right, chillin' and thrillin'. Well, Guns, I'm very pleased you came on. It's actually it's good to have this conversation, and I've enjoyed how far you've come, and very excited to see how far you can go. And I'm loving the fact that there is a real serious competition at the top of our region now with people we can get behind and support. So regional open number 2 starting on the 17th. Well, quals on the 10th. Main event on the 17th. Good luck with that. After your return from Saudi, so you've got a few weeks of jam-packed Rocket League. Good luck with it all. And once again, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, bye.
I'll check you soon.
It's been a
Bye.
pleasure. All right,
Bye.
peace out, guns. Bye. Oh wow, he actually dipped. There we go. He was gone.
I mean, we said goodbye. What did you expect it to do?
Okay, good. I like this feature, and we will get better with it over time. In terms of, I think it's just great content, and it's so important to get our top players out in front of the community, where they can see hopefully a side of them maybe they weren't too aware of. So let's have a brief conversation. There's not too much to say. I think we actually covered most of it during that conversation with Guns. Is the demise of Cosmico, and it is tragic, and I don't, we don't have all of the details. But it was clearly serious enough that Syntax had to make that decision. But really, really tough because he had committed so much to the region over such a long period of time. And it's certainly not unheard of. It's unfortunately a common occurrence within the esports ecosystem. It's when you decide to start an org and get going, you're not doing something where all the odds are in your favor.
I've got so many questions around this and the nature in which it all went down. Like, real life always takes precedence, and money always could be reallocated elsewhere. But it just seems such a shame to see years worth of blood, sweat, and tears by so many people just go. I just help to think that maybe there was another way, maybe that the closure was too rash, because I've been having conversations with people, around who were involved in Cosmico. I haven't had a chat with Syntax, but just speaking to the people on the ground, my only question is, could it not have gone on for a little bit longer, even without, that top-down support? Did it have to go kaboom right there and then? That's my only disappointment, because Cosmico has become a staple in the SSA scene, and I feel that, situation and circumstances aside, I feel like it should have, been given a better shot. Not from a resources perspective, just from time.
I guess the frustration is that, well, there's many frustrations, but one of them for me is, half the job or the hard part of the job is persisting over time and building a name over time. I mean, there are plenty names that have come and gone, and you'd be hard pressed to remember them. I mean, the number of times I've been looking at old Wikipedia pages and I go, those guys, I remember their brief little foray. But Cosmico they got into the scene in 2022, I believe it was. And they've been a presence for 3 years, and that's hard work to keep going over that time. So you feel like that, as you've pointed out, Bromeo, a lot of hard work to build a name, build a brand, and then and now gone, which it's hard and rough.
And that's my thing. There's a lot of sunken time by a lot of people. So my query comes in. Surely there must have been a way, and all this should actually just be a question to Syntax himself. And if you're watching, this question's going to you, as to why, because you've got the people, you've got a lot of people invested. Maybe there was another way, and because there's not enough orgs in SSA. Actual orgs. There's a lot of Discord servers that, the moment the season's over, go very, very quiet, but there's not enough actual orgs. So this needs to be a teaching point, because instead of pointing out why an org has failed, figure out why, so that we can prevent it from happening again, and take as much knowledge and learning from it as possible to make sure that it doesn't happen as many times in the future. So I don't know. There needs to be something that we take away from this other than bitterness. That's my only thing.
Yeah. Well, what do we take? Because I think of Death Cloud, and Death Cloud for me I admire what Space Crisp is doing because, I mean, I think he messaged me on Discord when he was 15 years old and he really wanted to do stuff, and he was, I can't even remember what the topic was, but he was trying to get involved with stuff, and then like 4 years later, he's, he pops out with Death Cloud, and they're going, and I go, I'm so rooting for their success, but I go, geez, like the odds are stacked against them. I mean, Cosmico seemed to be an org that had some structure, some infrastructure. It seemed to be a thing, and then bang, overnight, and it's like, oh my, it does make. It just sows uncertainty, which in such an uncertain environment already, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a very harsh environment in the esports scene. And so just seeing Cosmico go, especially after the success that they've had, I mean, winning 3 franchises or, 3 tiers in RSC, and then, I mean, making a top 4 in RLCS. But I think what I can hope off of this is that it's an invitation to orgs to, there's now a vacancy in the scene. I mean, Cosmico is a really big name. Why not start making that push to try to fill in those shoes? I mean, somebody has to fill that vacancy. And I mean, we do have orgs coming in, and I mean, some orgs that have been around for a little while now, as you mentioned, Death Cloud, but also I know Stones and Chrome Esports, they're not fielding a roster right now, but they're looking. And I mean, it's promising that they're willing to stay around. And so that's what you have to take away, is that yes, it's very sad that Cosmico closed the doors. It broke my heart to see that put out there, but I think that this is still going to be the best season for SSA, and why not make the most out of it and try to fill in those empty shoes that are now out there for any orgs that are possibly looking to jump into RLCS or just Rocket League in general.
And I do believe there are a couple of nibbles from orgs. There are conversations that are ongoing. Nothing is nailed down, but they're just too good a roster to be unrepresented. So I have no doubt we will see something pop there. I really, really hope. But on to better things. On Friday, we had the Varsity Esports finals, and that was at, I was going to say Comic-Con. Oh, my word. Rage would have banned me for life if I had said that.
Forever.
Yeah, I know. That would be at Rage. Rage at the Four Ways Mall. It was the Varsity Esports Finals for Rocket League. And Bromeo and I were there. Live and in person to kind of see it out. We had 4 universities being represented, 2 from Stellenbosch, their A and their B side, and then University of Cape Town. So the Gauteng representation a little rough, and then the other was from Northwest University, and we seeing on screen right now some pictures rolling by of the day. So Bromeo, I'll hand over to you to give us a little bit of a rundown and take us through the day and what happened. But I'll say we had some legends there. Darth was there. Blade was there. Technic Eagle was there, and then even Rowan. Well, there we see Darth, and then even Rowan, who was a legend out of RLCS back in the first 2 seasons, been out of it for a while. I think he's looking at making a comeback, but there he is. There's Rowan himself. So, Bromeo, take us through the day. Huh?
Well, it all started on a quiet summer's morning, driving into Four Ways and noting that the place has changed a lot since the last time. And no, I wasn't going to Monte Casino. We were going to Four Ways Mall, to the very top parking lot, in fact. So no, we weren't going to the Dome. No, we were not going to Nazareth.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you there. I have to interrupt you. Sorry, I've just seen that James Bot just followed. James Bot,
thanks, James.
Legend RLCS caster. Sorry, I was going to shout out James Bot. Great to see you. So you were saying, Four Ways Mall, Rage, go.
Thank you, James, for interrupting my monologue, but with your awesome presence. That's okay. I'll start the story again. So it was a warm summer's morning, but no, we had to rock up for this one quite early because it was a long day of Rocket League on Friday. And if you guys were watching the stream, which you would have only started watching at about midday because technical issues aside, that's just the nature of LAN. You'll see the pictures up in the front. Greybeard wasn't even wearing his headset for the longest because it was blasting through our headphones and we were giving ourselves ear bleeds. But overall, absolutely worth it. And I'm so glad that Metal State has picked this one up. And, such a big shout out to FNB for pulling this one together because they're the absolute goats for bringing this one in, because it finally makes the whole esports ladder make sense, because you're in high school, you head to the community leagues, you play a bit of RLCS, and hell, there's a nice little side path through to university now as well. So to see the fact that you can now play collegiate Rocket League is absolutely fantastic. Look, it's still not at the same level as I would even argue the best high school teams. But, and this must be said, we have to start somewhere. So for Metal State to put this all together and to find the sponsors that they did, to invite us to cast us has been an immense privilege. Greybeard's already shouted out the names. There was also supposed to be To Die For, but To Die For has this thing of, just being really good at the game and required elsewhere. So he wasn't there to represent UCT, but you see the potential is there. The potential for like these mega teams is there. And the more eyes we get on this, the more universities are going to get invested into this and start putting resources into it because they want to win, because they don't want to see Marty's absolutely dominating Stellenbosch, for those who don't know. And I think this can only get better and bigger. So yeah, big props to Middle State. They did say they were going to change some things up when we spoke to Wesley a couple weeks back. But I'm really excited to see where this one goes, GB.
And not the least of which is moving Rocket League from Friday morning, the opening day of Rage, to a Saturday or a Sunday. Saturday would be my preference, lots of people around. But what we have done, Bromeo, through this community and what we have done is we have elevated Rocket League to the point where, broadly speaking, we are being noticed, and the value of Rocket League and what Rocket League can bring, because you have Metal State are doing this, and we cannot shout them out enough. But nobody in Metal State are passionate about Rocket League. They know and understand the other esports titles. No one there really knows and understands Rocket League. They're getting that understanding now, and I think we are going to go from strength to strength, and what we're doing broadly as a community are going to drive it there. But on the day, so 4 universities there were 2 semi-finals, a third, fourth playoff, and the grand final. So first up was UCT, University of Cape Town, up against the Stellenbosch the Turbo team, I guess the B team, and UCT did very, very well. No, I'm getting that completely wrong. Bromeo, I can see Bromeo's confusion because that's not who they played. They played Northwest University. That was the first series of the day, and with Peanuts there. Peanuts part of Nkandla Style, who had a top 8 finish in RLCS in the Open one. So that's pretty epic. There he is there, Peanuts. And so Northwest University had to go to the third, fourth playoff. Second game was the university derby, I guess we would call it, Brobia. So the Stellenbosch A team versus the Stellenbosch B team, and it pretty much went the way you would expect.
Look, it did, and we were trying to gas it up to give it a little bit of gravitas, but it just shows the extreme depth of Stellenbosch and how they light years ahead of the other varsities, because I'm not sure what it is about their esports program, but I think they won out on Valorant as well. And I haven't been following the rest of the results, but Marty seems to do well in that department. And so I would actually love to find out who's like their esports program coordinator, because they're clearly putting some time and effort into it, because it's not a coincidence that all of these, kids are getting together and, banding it. Either it's a player pushing it, or there is somebody within the university who's passionate about it pushing it. So either way, I would love to find out. If any of you guys know, let me know so we can talk to them, because they are clearly doing something very
leading the
right.
way. All right, so that was, and then the grand final then was UCT up against Marty's A team, the Tomates, and I thought UCT had a good showing. They took 2 games in the best of 7, but ultimately going down 4-2, and I believe for at least the second year in a row, the Tomates are the Varsity Esports Rocket League champions. And that was Darth, Blade, and Dino. So congratulations to them. And yeah, we will certainly be there too. There they are, the 3 of them. And
GB, sorry to interrupt. I know that you had some prior commitments that you couldn't get out of, so I had to field the grand final, sans Greybeard. But if you have a look on stream, you see a guy who's an MC introducing. We roped in the MC, Cody. He'd never cast Rocket League before.
I don't think he'd ever even seen Rocket League before.
No. But you know what is amazing? And I'm trying to find the broadcast, but he was actually quite good. And he said the bug has bit and that he'd like to cast again. So we exchanged numbers, and if you see him up on stream anytime soon, no, it's because he cast some serious sweaty esports at university level and enjoyed it. But no, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was just a good all round day for Rocket League.
And my last comment on that was going to be something. Oh, that was about Peanuts, because I saw a picture of him. And Peanuts also, there was some competition that Varsity Esports were running, and he won himself a PS5. So he's upgraded himself from a potato PC to a PS5, and then one day he'll upgrade himself to a real PC. But congratulations to the Tomates. They are the Varsity Esports Rocket League champions. And that then brings us to general items. And I've thrown a bunch of things into under the heading of general. And the first thing I wanted to go over there is that the new esports decals are going to be available from Wednesday, 10th of December. You can buy the 2026 season Rocket League decals, and the Pioneers have themselves a decal. So I thought we should showcase that here.
I love how you're just telling the audience the same time as you're telling me. Like, I feel like I deserve an hour's grace of knowing this.
Okay, well, they did tweet it out on Friday, so I've got that.
Oh, so that
going
one's
for
on me. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
They had a whole segment.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, here's their little video. Borky Bromy, I don't think you're going to hear this. It's really just a music overlay, but you can listen to it on stream. This is the Pioneers decal reveal. Did you say it was very quiet?
Yeah, no, I can literally hear Greybeard vibing out to it, but I cannot. I don't think stream or us got any of it.
I haven't solved that problem yet, but I think I haven't seen all the other decals, but I think that is a very sexy looking decal, and I will definitely be buying it as soon as it comes out on Wednesday. And so should you go and check it out. But A, very glad that they got a decal. B, and the video presentation was amazing. It reminded Bromy. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Red International.
No, I love getting questions like that to prove I'm not that old.
Yeah, and that prove how old I am. So there used to be a series of shows where it was like almost like, I don't know, were they puppets? So they were. It was all, but it was science fiction. And so they were like, oh my God, this is so bad. There's no way I'm going to describe this. But
Pictionary, are we going to get a piece of paper?
No, all the sets were in mini, so everything was a small version of everything. Anyway, it reminded me of that. Jesus Christ, this was terrible to even mention it.
Good anecdote. Thank you.
Well, all I can say is if Romeo doesn't know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Borky, I wasn't even going to throw the question at you because that would just be a complete waste of time there. Okay, but shout out to Pioneers, fabulous decal, and I'll certainly be getting it, and I'm sure most of the people in our community will be as well. And
can I just say,
yes.
And this is a little, it might be controversial. I never picked up the Limitless one because I didn't like it, and I was so torn because I wanted to be patriotic to my region, and I didn't want to be ungrateful that we were given a decal. But having seen this one, I will definitely be buying it and atoning for my sins. I know that the Limitless guys are mostly on KCP anyway, so don't feel too bad, guys. I'm buying your decal eventually. Yeah, but I finally got here.
Well, you still have 2 days to buy the Limitless decal because it'll be gone forever on Wednesday. So you can still get in there and have it as a collector's item that you can never trade.
I'm okay with that.
All right, then big news last week was that Manchester City now have a Rocket League roster. And if there's anything that made sense in Rocket League, it is for football clubs to have Rocket League teams. And it was fabulous. They didn't do too well at the kickoff land, but still. We used to have Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates, the biggest football club in all of Africa, had a Rocket League team. And they, for reasons, there were reasons, but they decided they weren't going to be involved anymore. And it is a tragedy. And I've tagged them on Twitter, and I also emailed them and said, hey, let's have a conversation. I would love to see Orlando Pirates back. And then if we get Orlando Pirates, let's get the others. Kaiser Chiefs, Sundowns. I mean, how amazing would it be to see these teams rocking it out in Rocket League?
I think that's actually a valid point you raise, is because at Rage, there was a Sundowns like a Mamelodi Sundowns merch store. So I walk up to these people and I'm go, yo, you guys are at an esports event and you're sort of like partnered with Metal State. Can I interest you in some car football?
Yeah.
And so they're like, what's that? And I'm like, no, what? Why? Like, we're just down that way. You can see it for yourself. And they were sponsoring some FIFA event, which I sort of get, football, same thing. But still, the leap is not far. We don't need much money. And how cool. I would totally buy a Sundowns decal. I would be there. I would buy me a Sundowns jersey and I would wear it. Even though I've been a Pirates fan since forever, I would wear a Sundowns jersey if it meant they were in Rocket League.
So we should start a campaign, and maybe this is the start of it, getting people thinking about it. If you know people in football around and can get us to go and have conversations with the people who count, who can make decisions, get us in touch. Let's start getting our local football clubs into Rocket League, because that would be banger. And then Reunion Island, I don't know if they have a football team, if they have football clubs, but That would be kind of interesting. I'm not sure what the situation is there. I mean, with an island of 800,000 people, they churn out Rocket League players like it's nobody's business. Surely they've got some football teams as well that we could get them involved. Yeah, Unguarded Ace makes a good point. There is a roster ready and waiting for Orlando Pirates if they make their way back in. Which will, there we go, Peanuts and Mama Lodi style. Fabulous stuff.
Love that.
Now, have you guys watched? So Rocket League Esports started this thing on their streams. Was it last year? Maybe the year before? I don't know. But where the crowd cam, where you can, on the second channel on Twitch, you can watch RLCS, but the camera is to the side of the pitch. It kind of follows from the side. So for people who are not veterans of RLCS and struggle, your parents, grandparents, trying to get them into Rocket League, it can be quite jarring to the camera switching on the usual, but that side camera is actually quite pleasant to watch. And as a caster, I love casting from that angle. So my question is this. We should be, and with any luck, the bulk of the rest of the 2026 season will be broadcast on satellite TV, on DSTV. And they had incredible numbers when they did the 1v1, the RLCS 1v1 weekend was broadcast on SuperSport, on one of their main channels. We had been on before, but on their sort of harder to find channels, and on their main channel,
like on channel 36 or something instead of channel 8.
Yeah, exactly. And that 1v1 weekend had 500,000 viewers over the course of the weekend. So there's definite interest from SuperSport to have more Rocket League on there. So my question is, Borky, the Bromeo, would it make sense to have that crowd cam being broadcast on DSTV? Keeping in mind that the vast majority of a potential few 100,000 people, this will be their introduction to it. Should we have the crowd cam there, or is there attraction in the chaoticness of the regular angles?
Honestly, I feel like crowd cam, in my opinion, will probably be one of the more appealing aspects for an average viewer, because I love the crowd cam. That's one of the main features that I tune into whenever I do watch RLCS, just because, yes, I do love the chaotic nature, but it feels more fluent. And for somebody that one of the things that I love about Rocket League is that anybody can really come in and watch it, and they're going to have a better understanding than they might a game like Valorant, for an example. So when you kind of take that aspect that's already existing, and then I don't want to say dumb it down, but you remove the chaotic aspect from it, it creates a very enjoyable viewing experience. And I feel like for people that are looking in and this is their first time ever seeing Rocket League, they're just switching through channels and they're like, oh, what's this? It's going to be the greater appeal. And I've even tested this before too with some of my friends that I've tried to get into Rocket League. When I'm showing them RLCS, is I show them the crowd view cam, because it's a lot more easier to follow and you get the whole narrative just right there in front of you.
Your thoughts, Bromeo? If you have strong thoughts one way or the other?
I do, actually, because so much money has been invested into the right way to broadcast mainstream sports. It's a $1 billion industry, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel when all of the scientific work has been done ahead of us? What retains viewership the most? And I think in what we're starting to do right in RLCS is making sure we always have an observer, because having an observer allows the brain to, sit back a bit, because it's very tough to watch an entire game of Rocket League from director cam, because you're permanently in the action. It's non-stop.
Yes.
And it's a lot of time to be consistently focusing in. So I can understand why that is too much. And I feel like what Hazza has done incredibly well, for those of you who don't know, Hazza is the observer for the RLCS broadcast and pretty much any broadcast that's worth its salt.
I think he was doing the kickoff LAN. I'm pretty sure he was there.
No, he's doing FIFA E, so he's there right
Oh,
now.
FIFA E. Jeez, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my thing is that there is a time and a place. I feel like when the action is kicking off, when the ball is about to go into the goal, that's when you're very close to the ball to see the skills, to see the resets, to see, just to see the hype. Because I feel like the moment you're pulled out, yes, it's analytical, yes, it's easier to digest, but it's also far less exciting. So when you've got a good balance of both, when you're in the midfield and you see the camera miles away to give you context, that is much easier to digest as a viewer. So I feel like as Rocket League becomes more and more of a mainstream sport, I feel like the more important, the more freedom will be given to the observer, and maybe even two observers, so that you've got a sky cam, which is panning out the entire time, and then you've got some variation of the action, so it's not in your face the entire time. So to answer your question directly, I think there is definitely a need for a crowd cam. All of the time, I don't think so, but for some of the time, it's vital.
Hybrid. Yeah, I do agree with that. Because even when I first got into RLCS and I loved the game, I found it quite jarring to start to understand and okay, Jesus, where's the orange side was here, now it's the other. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, no, it can be quite something. Okay, cool. And then the last thing is that Borky has put in a huge amount of work to redesign our player cards. Which I think look pretty damn cool. So I'm going to show them off here and remind you that exclamation cards will give you the link to this. And these are the player cards redesigned. There's To Die For's one 5BS, and one day we'll get a picture for him so we can put that there. And all the
I love
current
the pronunciation underneath some of the names there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and Yilo.
And Yilo, yeah. So yeah, well, shout out to Borky. Borky, I would estimate you've put in a good 30 hours into A, the information, and B, the design work. At least that.
At least. The annoying part is that, and I mean, I'm sure you can kind of agree with me, Graybearders. We're both very picky and perfectionist. So when it came to the designing aspect of it, there was probably 6 different templates that I went through before we got to one we were happy with.
So there you go. If you wanna check out the cards, feel free to do so. But shout out to Borky for doing that. And I think that is pretty much going to wrap it up for us, gentlemen.
Oh, we're running credits again. I love this. I love this. Well done, GB. No, if we're heading into that thing, we're talking about the last episode of the season. We're talking about an entire year of Rocket League, which we've just seen. And it's been absolutely incredible, Greybeard. We have presided over a season and a little bit of RLCS, a full season of RSC, and RSC LAN, and more LANs than I can count at high school and other levels. So it has been such an amazing year of Rocket League, Greybeard, like possibly the best one yet. And it's given me so much hope and so much enthusiasm for next year. 2026 is going to go so damn hard.
I could not agree more. Normally when it comes to Rocket League, the last 2 years, as the year has ended, I'm like, thank God it's all over. Let me enjoy Christmas and hopefully it'll be better. But it's just been incredible. And I mean, it's the last episode of Just Saying, but there's more Rocket League happening. We've got FIFA E happening next week. And then we get right into the thick of Open number 2, starting early in the new year, 10th of January. So the year starts and we're going to be right back into it. And I guess we are going to go and raid Lawler because, well, Lawler is live, so we will go and raid him. But to everyone that came to join and hang and ask questions and who followed, James Bott, shout out to you. Great to have you as part of the scene. And have an outstanding Christmas, a fantastic New Year. And we will see you for episode 5 of season 3 of Just Saying early in the new year, 5th of January. We will be back, but there will be other streams. I will be streaming the FIFA the World Cup stuff on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday next week. So join me for that. And Borky, thanks for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure having you on board. And then from me, Greybeard and the Bromeo and Borky, peace. We're out.